Hello, Richard. Thank you for being the first person to come onto the live stream. Yeah, I just literally just sort of came in, and the missus is out, so I thought what I'd do is just put the camera on and sort of say hello to you guys. I've not made a video for a little while, so yeah, thought I'd just come on. It won't be for long; it'll only be like half hour or so, maybe if that. But yeah, it's quite nice to see you guys on it. Newport News, VA. I presume that's an American state. Is that what's VA? You'll be able to tell me what's VA. I presume that's an American state, but yeah, I'm not overly overly clued up. Richard, wife is she's gone around a friend's house. I think she's being cooked for, which is quite nice. So yeah, she's out. Like I said, I've just recorded a video which will probably go up tomorrow now, because after this I'm not going to be bothered to make a thumbnail and upload and process and do all that rubbish. So I'll probably go up tomorrow. But obviously it's been a while since I've made a video, so just thought I'd jump on. Oh, Virginia. Yeah, that probably makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? VA, Virginia. Yeah, seems to make a lot of sense. Digger, hello, mate. Thank you very much for tuning in. 12 people already. That's quite good. I only clicked live a minute ago. Like I say, there's no theme to this. Apologies, it's probably going to be a bit dull, to be honest, and I'll probably bugger off in 10 minutes and leave you all in the lurch. But yeah, I thought I'd just come on. Obviously, anyone who joins, it's it's nice. Hope you're having a nice evening. Or I don't know what time it is in Virginia. I know US is what, 6 to 10 hours difference. Don't know, here in the UK anyway. Hi, Paul. Thanks very much for popping in, mate, and for the little wavy hand emoji. Very much appreciated. Hope you're all having a good 2 p.m. Oh, okay. It's 7 o'clock here. So yeah, nearly beer time. But like I say, firstly, a quick live stream, pretty much just to say hello to everyone. So when did you gamble for the last time, Richard? In all honesty, mate, it's been a while. I don't know. It's a completely honest answer to that. I know a lot of people who are in recovery, not just gambling or but maybe alcohol or whatever. So, and that the OG are here on YouTube for gambling addiction. Andy Margate used to open every one of his videos with, "My name's Andy, and I'm X amount of days clean of gambling." I've never done that. Never counted days. I couldn't even tell you the nearest month, mate. To be honest with you, it's been a little while. But yeah, don't know for sure, if I'm completely honest with you. What have we got? Bavers, or my apologies if I mispronounced that. I'm okay, mate. Thank you very much. Yeah, all is good. I'm fucking knackered. I've been working all day. Like I say, just recorded a video which will probably go up tomorrow now. So yeah, I'm good, thanks, man. Oh, Trinidad and Tobago. I bet your weather's nicer here than it is in the UK. Honestly, it's supposed to be British summertime. I thought we were supposed to be suffering from global warming, but it's bloody freezing around here. Honestly, it's been raining the last couple of weeks. I was going to say whereabouts in Trinidad and Tobago are you from, but even if you give me the answer, I'm probably never going to have heard of it. But yeah, nice, man. Thank you very much for joining. Appreciate that. Yeah, so like I say, this is just me saying hello to you guys, because I've been away a while. I did get seriously sunburnt. It doesn't look so bad now, but I uploaded a photo to the channel to show you me shedding skin like a snake. So yeah, that was particularly horrible. I'm still been scratching all over as well, which is pretty grim. But there you go. The nice thing is obviously while you guys are on here, you're not hopefully you're not gambling. If you've got another laptop or another window open and you're playing the slots online, then good luck. Hope you win. But yeah, it's just nice to occasionally to sort of say hello to everyone. Like I say, there'll be some new videos coming out next few days. Just recorded one, just uploading it. Like I say, I'll sort the thumbnail and stuff out tomorrow. But Yeah, I can't be bothered to do that right now. To be honest, I'm tired. I've got the darts recorded. No spoilers, please, from the other night, and so I'm going to watch that. Paul, top man, feel your videos really help me. I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased that they help you, mate. It's become a bit weird already because I kind of started this channel as almost like a personal thing, like making the videos was sort of a sort of slightly cathartic for me, and then people started following, and I'm going to get emotional already. Shouldn't do this on a live stream. And people started telling me that I was helping them. And so I felt kind of compelled to do it. And then the more I did it, the more people said I was helping. And it kind of snowballed. And here we are, you know. And now I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, yeah, this is great. You know, I really enjoy doing this. And I don't know how to further extend my reach. You know what I mean? Like, I want to do sort of, there's lots of things I want to do. I want to do like sort of like podcast type interviews with maybe recovering addicts and some of you guys. You know, I've already reached out to a couple of people on my Patreon, link in the description, by the way. I've reached out to a couple of people on my Patreon to sort of see if they want to do interviews, but I don't know how the technology is going to work. I'm not massively au fait with how that'll be, but yeah, I want to do that. I want to really, and I say this all the bloody time, and I'm a bit of a broken record. I want to get in front of younger people. I want to get into school and talk to them about addiction, and because I think that, you know, the advice that people get around addiction, the advice people get around about dangerous habits in schools is so flawed, and it could be so much better. And maybe, hopefully, it would be better coming from someone who's, you know, been there and done that and got the scars to prove it. But who knows? Anyway, Digger. 18 months, 11 days. Man, that's good. That's fucking brilliant, man. Well done. 18 months, man. That's awesome. Really, really good to hear, man. I get so many stories shared with me here, good, bad, otherwise. I mean, a lot of the stories I get, granted, are people who are in their worst possible spots, you know, because the fact they found me and my videos and whatever is because they've come off the back of a loss or they've at a particularly low point. So to hear from someone like you, Digger, who, you know, is there, but also, like myself, is trying to be aware of the fact that actually maybe you're never fully recovered. You know, maybe there is always something there, and you're still looking for help. You're looking for support. It's brilliant, man. But 18 months is fucking awesome. Honestly, that's brilliant, man. And I really appreciate that. Although you do talk about the February the 4th, so you know, don't feel the need to share it, you know. But obviously, what was that experience you had that made you decide that enough was enough, you know? Because I think a lot of people have that, and sometimes that trigger isn't enough, you know. Sometimes that big loss or that big situation isn't enough. It's sometimes that, along with a lot of other factors, that leads you into recovery. But anyway, yeah, I'll be interested to hear what that is. Richard B, biggest benefit. You know what, man? Genuinely, hand on heart, probably something to make a video about. But anyway, the biggest benefit I've had from stopping gambling is sleep. I still sleep fucking awfully, man. I get terrible dreams every night, and I don't sleep particularly well. But what I don't have is that lying awake in the middle of the night, either contemplating a loss or contemplating trying to work out my finances, sitting there calculating my finances in my head. And I still do it to this day, to be fair. So I did make a video about that, but not to such an extent. Sitting there calculating your money in your head and, oh, okay, I've got this. Oh, I've got this coming. I can probably borrow X amount from X, Y, and Z, and that'll get me that, and that'll pay that. And then that peace of mind that when I start a day or when I finish work one day, right, I can wake up the next morning and the same amount of money will still be in my bank account, less whatever I spend in the pub or whatever, you know. That is genuinely the biggest thing. It's not even the money, because the money was never a problem. Funny enough, I never starved during my gambling addiction. I say during, obviously I still have it, I presume, but I never starved. What happened is that I just thought about it so much more. Anyway, sorry, let's have a look at the other comments. Started with a 30-day challenge. Was that my 30-day challenge, man? I remember doing that. I do remember doing that. That was awesome. If that was me, man, then thank you. Thank you for letting me know that, because that's a, like, dare I say, an ego boost, but that's brilliant. It's brilliant to hear in some real way I've actually helped people, you know. This is all coming across a bit gushing, isn't it? You know, I should go and get myself a pint of Stella out of the fridge and have that to at least sort of try and calm it down a bit, so I don't sound so bloody preaching evangelical. But that's great here. It's great to hear, Digger. Even Jimmy Digital, nice to see you, mate. Chris, do you think MVG or anyone else ever win? No, I don't think he will, Chris. To go off slightly off topic, I I think the thing is Phil Taylor was so good for so long and he was unsurpassed. The thing is with MVG, he's an absolutely amazing player, and I don't doubt that he's still very much one of the best, if not the best in the world. But I think there's enough strong competition. There's enough players coming through now that he won't win year after year after year like Phil Taylor did. James, I'm not going to pretend to pronounce your surname. Sorry, mate. I quit 3 months ago. Life's good. Yes, life is so much better. Doesn't mean that life suddenly immediately gets amazing when you quit. It just means that life does get gradually better. And 3 months is a good milestone. 3 months is after when the urges start to subside, when you actually start to see progress in your life, when you start to see some sort of recovery in your finances, and when you start to actually feel almost like, dare I say, a normal person. And I still don't feel completely like a normal person, but that's brilliant to hear, man. Cheers, Phil. Phil Paget, thank you. Again, it's such a, I'd love to say, it's because I want to help the people, but it really does. It gives me a boost every time I hear that someone is being helped by what I say, and that's the selfishness of it, I guess. It's nice to know that the price I've paid financially and in other terms, is helping other people, so I appreciate that, man. Digger, it was. Oh, thanks, man. No, that's cool. I completely forgot about that video. The 30-day challenge, which seems to have turned into an 18-month challenge, so that's brilliantly done. James, thank you. I don't know what you said, Terence, but if you included bad language, don't worry about it. I'm very much in favour of that. Snooker, man. Oh, I used to watch snooker. Tales Play Poker. I found like watching golf, it just runs away with your life, doesn't it? And watching the Ashes, which I did recently, if you're going to watch it, you have to accept that it's pretty much going to take over your life as long as it goes on. Claudia, a lady. Ooh, we don't get many of them on this channel, but thank you very much. Welcome. Love your videos. Unless it's a man, and sorry, it's a country that I'm not from. Anyway, I'm digging myself a hole here. Straight up. Hey man, love your videos. Can't watch the live because I'm going out to progression. How do you find a sponsor to help me through the process of stopping? Claudia, I don't know. In all honesty, if you want a sponsor, I've heard not from gambling actually, funny, from a couple of guys I know who are alcoholics, that sponsor is really, really helpful. And they got theirs through AA. So I presume that in GA, you get sponsors. GA is one of those things that I've always said wasn't for me, but I still recommend it. If you tried other things and it hasn't worked, but you haven't tried GA, try GA because it's helped an awful lot of people. So do that. Maybe go to a GA meeting, or I don't know whereabouts you're from in the world, but it's worth it, man. And that's how you get a sponsor. Or I'd say maybe even failing that, talk to someone close to you, someone who you trust. Oh God, I'm getting emotional. Talk to someone that you're close to, a guy's friend, family member, whatever, that knows about your addiction, and keep them and let them know that you're going to message them when you're struggling, and then hopefully they can help. I was just had a very little gambling now. Don't think I can give it 100%. That's up to you, man. Like I say, I've always been here to say that. Yes, I realise I'm wearing a thick silver gold chain and a Stone Island t-shirt. My apologies. It's fine. You know what? I'm not here to tell you that gambling is bad. I'm not here to tell you that you shouldn't gamble, right? I can't gamble because I can't control it. But if you can control it, and if you can get it right down to a bit that's affordable and that isn't causing any harm, then go for it. You know what I mean? It's like an alcoholic telling people they can't drink. I still have a couple of pints. So if I was listening to an alcoholic preach on about, how you can't ever drink again, then, you can casually disregard that because you can control it. But anyway, if you can get it down to a point that's affordable and isn't causing you any harm, and you don't feel that need or want to stop, then good luck to you, man. Hope you win. James, you started your own company. What did you do, man? what's your company do? I've got a couple of little businesses, but I wouldn't say they're companies. They're just little businesses that I run on the side just to, you know, help pay the bills. Terence, you're fairly clever. Fairly clever. I guess I'll take that as a compliment. Going in fact, very clever chaps. There is nothing worse than being battered by gambling. Indeed, absolutely. And I've said this before. It's got nothing to do with intelligence. It genuinely hasn't. You know, you can be the smartest person. You know, and you can still be massively, massively afflicted by this. You can be massively taken over by this, because I knew, even when I was gambling, you know, I knew that the odds were against me. I knew what I was doing from a intelligence, logic, common sense, statistics point of view was incredibly foolish, and I knew that what I was doing was causing me harm. But it didn't stop me doing it. So it doesn't matter how intelligent you are, and it doesn't matter how clever you are in other ways. You know, the one thing I've said about this in other videos is that, you know, you can be amazing with money. And I've always been amazing with money. I can scrimp and save money and get the best offers and get the best deals and save 10% of my car insurance, right? It doesn't matter how clever you are in so many aspects of life. You know, gambling isn't about intelligence. It's not, addiction isn't about intelligence. Because if you sat down in the cold light of day when you haven't got the rush, you will think about it so logically and you wouldn't do it. But you do it regardless. Right, hang on, where were I? So I'm just reading the comments. I'm looking at my laptop, which is filming this, and the microphone's over here, and the comments are over here. So my apologies. Thank you, Claudia, man, woman. Very much appreciate your support. Whichever one of the 7,000 genders you know are, but thank you, I appreciate that, man. Phil, can you advise how to deal with urges? I can't advise how to deal with urges. The only thing I can say about urges is they're transient and they fade. They never go away completely. Trust me, they never go away completely. Like, I still get an urge if I see one of those sort of bet and play commercials from, you know, Ray Winston or whatever, and he pops up and says that Man United are, you know, 7-1 to win 2-1. I think, oh, that's a good odds, and there's a tiny little bit of my brain that goes, I'll go and just put that bet on. You know, even though sports betting was never really my thing. The thing about urges is realize that they're transient. Realize that they will go. If you can resist for that time that you are experiencing the urge through common sense, willpower, and, yes, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, blocks and actual restrictions on your ability to act on them. And that's the main thing. If you can restrict your ability to act on urges, then by the time you manage to find a way to circumnavigate the restrictions, your urges die down. Maybe you don't actually want to do it anymore. That's my advice. It's probably lame, it's probably cliched, it's probably been repeated a million times, but that is what I would say to people. What did your wife think about your gambling addiction? We told her. Yeah, I was scared. I was scared to lose it. Yes, I was scared, Richard. Absolutely, mate. And dare I say, she wasn't. Like, this is the thing I talk about talking to people, particularly those closest to you, is that you have to do it, by the way. There really is no way around it, particularly if you buried yourself in a bit of a hole like I had. But yeah, not everyone's going to understand. Not everyone's going to. I'm getting emotional again. I'm going to probably end this live stream at some point because I'll probably go and cry in a corner. Not everyone's going to understand. Not everyone's going to appreciate it. Not everyone's going to be supportive. You know, people don't always understand it. She stuck with me, and she became ultimately my biggest support. You know, and that's because we had something, you know, quite a deep bond. But dare I say, if it was a more of a fleeting relationship, it wouldn't have survived. And it made me make an awful lot of commitments to her that kind of almost became a bit of a sort of Damocles over my head, that if I fucked up, basically, it would cost me substantially more than money. So yeah, I don't think she was necessarily any more angry than she had been the amount of times I let her down because of gambling, even though she didn't know the reason. But when I told her, it wasn't straight. You know, it wasn't clear sailing. But yeah, ultimately, those people closest to you will become your best support, and those are the ones that stay for the ride. Elvira, that's a cool name. Elvira, wasn't she the? I remember her from the old cartoon computer games. She was the one with the big boobs. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. Slots here in Vegas was really tight. I don't believe in spending and even gambling with fun experience. Yes, gamblers are miserable. Absolutely. Gambling is massively missold as this sort of fun, high octane, high exhilaration experience. But actually, it's in most cases very monotonous and very depressing. I think one of the most depressing places I've been to on earth was Monte Carlo Casino, which I got on a very cheap deal, by the way. I'm not, like I say, I always try and make sure I tell you I'm not living the high life. But yeah, and everyone was there miserable. And it's the same with most casinos, it's the same with most bookies, it's the same with most arcades. It's the same with the people who stood at the fruit machine in the pub, or the pokey in the bar, if you're one of our friends from down under. Yeah, it's missold to us as a high exhilaration, high octane, high excitement, roller coaster of an experience. But it's not. It's just depressing. It's repetitive. It's not a fun thing, man. Hi, Kir Royale. Kir Royale. Is that raspberry? Or is that a cocktail? Anyway, it doesn't matter. MNU. I've never actually gambled, but I love your videos. Been watching for years. Really good inside tradition. Oh, cheers, man. Appreciate that. It's funny. I actually get a few comments from people who don't gamble, never gamble, but just think that my videos are useful. I don't know necessarily why that would be, but I do appreciate it, and thank you for your support. If you think they're that useful, then so much my Patreon. I'm going to continue to plug my Patreon, by the way, just to let you know, because if I can get to a sufficient point where my Patreon's paying X amount, then I can bin off a couple of the other things I have to do for keeping the roof over my head and spend more time on this. So I will continue to promote it. But like I always say, if you don't want to support me that way and that's not your bag, that's cool. Just like and subscribe and do all the YouTubery stuff, Hi people, Mark 147. 147, is that a snooker reference? I hope you've been watching your videos for years. Glad you keep it safe and sane. I am keeping it safe. That safe and sane thing, I'm going to put it on a t-shirt so it's through merch. Yeah, that came from the COVID thing, actually, when everyone was locked indoors, and I was a bit worried that was going to cause an awful lot of people an awful lot of problems, because boredom plus gambling addiction equals absolute carnage. So keep safe, keep sane was that. But yeah, it's just become a thing now, and now I say it, and like I say, I might get some t-shirts made up. But cheers, Mark. Appreciate you, mate. All the best. Dan, why have you guys got all such really hard to pronounce usernames? Dan Ellitical. I feel my friend Timmy Eldridge has just joined GA. Timmy, good luck, man. Yeah, hope GA works for you. Like I say, not my thing, but it's helped and saved so many lives. So there's no way in the world I'm going to criticize GA. To say that it wasn't my solution, but it's been the solution for lots of people. So good luck, Timmy. Good luck, man. A Smog. Oh, one of my oldest original subscribers, man. We used to have a lot of conversations, didn't we? That's back in the day when, dare I say, now I'm big and YouTube famous. He says trying to keep a straight face. Sorry, I used to have to respond to every comment, but yeah, no, nice one, mate. Good to see you. Sam C, thanks for all you do on here. How does one get themselves out of a shame spiral? You can't escape the shame, and it'll always live with you. That's not the fun, great, beneficial, psychological, Toby Robbins kind of answer. But no, you will always carry some of that, but the load will lighten, because once you get into recovery and you can start behaving like a better, normal human being, you can alleviate some of that by being nicer to those around you and supporting those around you, and not doing the things that cause you the shame in the first place, which ultimately dilutes the shame and the regret and the self-hatred. You can't lose everything. Like, I still regret stuff I've done. I still think about things positions I've been in, things that I should have done. You can't lose it, and you'll never lose it. All you can do is stop adding on top of it. You can stop exacerbating the shame and the help and the hurt and the self-loathing. So no, that's not a great, happy-go-lucky kind of response. But all I can say is that the longer you go and the longer you persist in a more positive behavioral cycle, the more you dilute the negatives, and eventually the scales start to tilt. Sunburn, man. Jesus. You probably can't see it because I'm using just the camera on my MacBook. But yeah, honestly, the back today has been super itchy. I'm flaking. I'm shedding like a snake is shedding its skin. I did say this. I uploaded the photos, a bit of a laugh and a joke, so you guys could laugh at me for my sunburn. But like I say, I have had a, albeit non-fatal, form of skin cancer, so I do take this shit seriously. I don't want anything that I'm taking it too lightly. I had the opportunity. Well, I had sun cream in a bag and a hat, and I just thought, well, we're going to go out on this boat for half an hour. That's my daily exposure. Fine. And after that, I slathered myself, and I was out on this boat for over 2 hours, and I burnt to a crisp. So yeah, I'm still recovering from that. Sunburn's not fun. So stay safe, stay sun creamed. Is all I can say. God, that was cheesy, didn't it? Jesus. Anyway, a few more minutes. I've got to fuck off. You were one of the first 100 to Smog. Absolutely, mate. I remember your comments from back in the day. We used to have a bit of a tet. And actually, you were one of the first people who challenged me on some of my opinions. And actually, in a sense, made me change some of my opinions. So that's great. Show Ryu Ken. Mate. That's giving me a bit of Street Fighter 2 nostalgia. Anyway, have you ever been tempted to play Fruit Machine emulators? No. You know what? Even when I was gambling, I didn't get on board with emulators. I had Fruit EMU or whatever on my laptop or whatever it was at the time. No interest in emulators, if I'm honest. That's an interesting thing. Very, very quickly, is that if you say you enjoy gambling because, if you say you gamble because you enjoy playing the games, only really works for Fruit Machines. But actually, I don't know, there's emulators for roulette and horse racing and all the rest of it. Then play a non-money related version of the same thing and tell me that you still enjoy it. The Bandit, for all his sins, says that actually, if you think you have a problem with gambling, then turn the music off, turn the sound off when you're gambling. And it's very true. If you start stripping away certain elements, and they're the elements that draw you in and make you do these things, right, psychologically, and you strip them away, then suddenly you realize just quite how dull the process is. The games are not entertaining. I consistently, as actually a thumbnail of one of my most recent videos, I used to have lots of Fruit Machines in my house. Even when I got my first place on my own, with a couple of mates, I turned my lounge into a bar and a nightclub. Story for another day, by the way, and I will talk about that. All I had was I had one sofa, but the rest of it I had a trussing system hung from the ceiling with disco lights on it and a DJ booth and several Fruit Machines. Playing the Fruit Machines for no money really wasn't interesting. So, what was I talking about? Emulators. So no interest in emulators. Cheerful pessimist though. I quite like his videos. Some, not the Fruit Machine cheap ones, because that's all old news to me. But I like some of the ones he talked about gambling addiction and stuff like that. Particularly when he took aim on affiliates of fake and people who didn't like me particularly for reasons best only known to themselves. Anyway, there you go. Dan and Elliptical, do a great service. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Do you think that sports bet apps are more socially acceptable than betting shops? Yes, I think they are, and I think they actually made it far more accessible. I said many times that ultimately gambling back in the day was like old blokes in flat caps and smoking cigarettes in bookies and dingy places reading the Racing Post, and that was the stereotype. And if you didn't conform to that stereotype, you almost didn't want to partake in that activity because you didn't think you'd fit in. It's a bit like being the tough bloke in a gym or being the rough bloke in a certain dodgy, estate pub. You wouldn't go into the gym because you didn't think you were like, Mr. Muscles, or you wouldn't go into that rough estate pub because you didn't think you fit the stereotype. You wouldn't go into a bookies because you didn't have the flat cap and the cigar and the whippet. Whereas the betting apps have made it far more accessible, far more socially acceptable, and also been promoted as sort of a fun activity. So yeah, absolutely, man. Mark 147. Yeah, it's a reference. I thought it might be. Either that or it's a really difficult darts checker. Do you find it hard to watch darts on Sky Sports when you keep talking about the odds? I don't with darts. Funny enough, that was one of the things I put in place when I decided to stop gambling. Was I was going to let myself have a bet on the Thursday night Premier League of darts. and then I actually looked at it from an outside perspective and realised how shocking the odds on darts are. I guess if you have a win-win draw, or now it is with the Premier League win-win kind of situation, the bookies have got to make their odds, and it makes it very, very obvious where their margin is. So I don't actually feel particularly compelled to bet on it. And I would say that's because actually I enjoy watching darts. You know, I don't watch sport now that I don't enjoy for its own purpose, if that makes sense. You know, I used to find myself watching lots of, sports just because I had a bet on it and I felt I was enjoying the sport for the sport. Whereas now I just watch the sport that I enjoy watching, or because I'm out in the pub and just want to watch something. You know, Matthew Jones, sense scheme works well for me, mate. I don't know what that is, dude. Can you elaborate a little bit? Sense scheme. If it worked for you, mate, share a link, stick a link in the description, man. Because anything that works for people, I appreciate you. SWC on Ball Street money issues. Already lost 45 today. We're on 15 accounts tonight to break even. Okay, well, I don't know what the 15 quid account is, mate, but I hope that comes through for you. Yeah, it's. I always say that gambling isn't a financial issue, but that isn't to dismiss the financial issues it causes, because it causes stress. It does cause an awful lot of problems, and it's often the escapism from the problems in our lives that causes us to further perpetuate addictions. An alcohol, an alcohol problem will cause you to have massive fallings out with your partner, or lose your job, or do all this other stuff. And the escapism from the problems that addiction has caused you leads you back into that addiction. So I'm not belittling the effect that the financial problems have. I'm just saying that actually overall that isn't the underlying issue. But yeah, so good luck to you, man. I hope you manage to sort your financial problems out. I don't want to sound preachy, but gambling is obviously not going to be the solution to that. Paul Sean, I hope you're burning too much time from the sun as well as gambling. Yeah, I probably have more from gambling than I have from the sun. But I couldn't tell you what's more painful at the moment. I'd say the sunburn, but maybe that's because the gambling's a bit of a memory thing. So all the time today, I still think you should bang out order. Yes, that was a fucking good video, man. Smog, I think I've still got it somewhere. Maybe once upon a time. That doesn't make any sense. It's down what you think about Once Upon a Jackpot. Jesus, that's an awful machine. Anyway, by the by, yeah, hopefully sometime in the future I will try and re-upload that, because although the cinematography and the acting was appalling, all done by me, by the way, that actually I thought was quite a solid video, and it did represent what it means, or the experience of being an addict, entails. And yeah, I completely forgot about that video, man. Yeah, I called it That Feeling, and they removed it because it shows me drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels, which actually wasn't Jack Daniels. It was cold tea in a Jack Daniels bottle. I'm not going to waste that much Jack Daniels just watching a video, making a video anyway. That's by the by. But yeah, Smog, maybe I'll try and find that. Have you got an all-time favourite dance player film? Yeah, I like the 80s ones, like Cliff Rezarenko. Bobby George, name drop. No, my dad fishes with Bobby George in his lakes. So Bobby George. Current favourite modern dance player, probably Nathan Aspinall. I think he's good to see a young lad, although he's actually not as young as he looks. But you're a good young lad coming through. Good personality, good character, good attitude, good approach to the sport. But yeah, so I would say I used to like Mervyn King, again because I met the guy. Colin Lloyd, but then this is all because I'm from Essex and that's where these guys are from. Well, Mervyn King's from Suffolk, but anyway, that's by the way. SWC. Oh, Aka. Oh, okay. All right, mate. Well, good luck with that. I would ask because curiosity as to who it's on, but no, let's not do that. Let's not go down that route, because that's probably not the right sort of conversation to be having in this chat. But I hope it comes in for you, man. Luca, 18-year-old, lost $12,000 in 40 minutes, $1,200 in 40 minutes, feeling sick. All I can say, Luca, is that feeling will fade and the money will come back. But if you're struggling with it, then use that sick feeling, use that motivation, that hatred, that whatever negative emotion you're experiencing as a motive to do something else, you know, maybe put blocks in place or whatever. All the boring shit that I preach time and time again, you know. But yeah, trust me, that $1,200, it might seem like a huge amount now, but it won't be in the grand scheme. Matthew Jones sense of self-exclusion. I think oh, you know what, Matthew? Hang on, have I got a pen? I was going to say I'll make it very quickly. Sorry, guys. I'm actually going to make a note of sense because I've not heard of it, so I'm going to have to look into it. And if it's good, I'll either add the link to my generic copy and paste video description, or I will make a video on it in of its own right. So, thanks, man. Appreciate you bringing my attention to that. SWC, cheers, man. Matthew Jones doesn't really. Yeah, cheers, Matthew. That's what the time. In all fairness, fairly easy on the top plate. Talk about snaps. And only for video makes it down. Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, I know my videos aren't the best. The production quality is pretty lame. You know, I do ramble on. Most of them are shot in one take, so I sometimes repeat myself multiple times. You know, I'm not here to be super entertaining. I'm here to try and help people, and you know, and I always say, and I sound like a broken record, but if you can watch my video and it makes you realise that you're not alone, that's kind of the most important thing. Because I think often with a psychological addiction like gambling, you can often feel alone. You can feel like you're the only person experiencing what you're experiencing. You feel like you're the only person who's suffering in the way that you're suffering. And what I try and do is just bring my own experiences to the table, so you realise that, fuck me, you know, oh, it isn't only me that feels like this. It isn't only me that's done this. It's not only me that, you know, is in this situation, and that's kind of the point, you know. Cheers, Matthew. Yeah, like I said, I've made a note of it, man. I'll have a look. Right. What's the time now? Right, fuck me. Right, 4 minutes, and I'm gonna have to go. Mainly because I'm fucking starving, man. I'm not eating anything all day. Also, I've got other stuff to do. But yeah, like I say, I just want to hop on, really to just chat to you guys. I'll go and try. Maybe I'll try and do this a bit more, you know, because I actually enjoy doing this. It's far more interactive. Quite often, what happens, or what I do, is I'll think of something, I'll make a note on my phone, and then I'll just hit the record button, try multiple times to record the same video. I know the videos seem really low production, one shot, but for every video that goes out, there's 17 failed attempts at recording the same thing. But yeah, maybe I'll just try and do this a bit more. And if I do try and do it a bit more, maybe I'll actually give people some warning, so you know when a video is coming up. But very quickly, right, let's answer a few more comments, and then I'm going to go. Mr. M, hello, mate. Good evening. Gambling turns nice, honest, kind, sympathetic, baseball. Yeah, absolutely. I think the most important thing about Mr. M is that actually the kind, honest, sympathetic, nice people are still nice, kind, honest, sympathetic people. Now, that's not excusing shit behavior, you know, in the hands of addiction. Shit behavior is still your behavior. It's still something you've done. It doesn't matter what the basis of it is. You know, you can't blame. Very, very quick aside. 12 years ago, I got down for drink driving, and I went to one of those drink driving awareness courses, and it was full of people making excuses for why they did what they did. But actually, ultimately, you know, regardless of, you know, intoxication or addiction, you are still responsible for your own behavior. So it's not an excuse, but it doesn't stop you from being a decent person underneath it all. But once you can get rid of that addiction, then you can go back to being the decent, honest person. Right. Show again. Thanks for stream, Phil. Nice to see you. Thanks, man. Diggers. Cheers, Phil. Have a good night. I will do. Yeah, I've got a couple of bits recorded. I might go and watch Green Street. I've watched that for years. The one with Elijah Wood. That's a great film. I'll go and watch that in a bit. While I've got some other stuff to do. Hella Solid. Oh, that's a street and gangster name. Question: if you banned yourself from online physically, what's the next steps that you did? Online and physically. I think after that, it's more to sound all hippie and trippy. It is kind of working on yourself. I think if you can extract the gambling from your life through the physical, practical blocks and stuff, and so you can't gamble, then you have no choice but to address the issue psychologically. But that's definitely a massively heavy rabbit hole that I haven't got the time to go down now. But yeah, I think once you do the practical stuff, and you have no choice but to not gamble, then you can address the other underlying things. Oliver Foreman, thanks for signing your Pat Club. Oh, cheers, man. Appreciate that. I'll have a look at that, and you'll probably get a personal message or video from me shortly. Do appreciate that. Anyone who does want to support me through Patreon, I'm going to plug it intermittently. Fuck it, why not? You know, there'll be a link in the description. Do appreciate anyone who signs up there. It helps me make more videos, helps me support people in other ways. Anyway, enough self-promotion for now, because I've only got a couple of minutes left. Thanks for your time, Phil. Cheers, Paul Sean. Appreciate that, mate. Thanks for popping by and saying hello and sharing your comments. Cheetah, very worthwhile. Thanks, man. That's yeah. And you know what? Like I say, despite all my Patreon promotion and, you know, self-aggrandizing, that's kind of why I do it, man. You know what I mean? The time I spend doing this, I could be doing something else that would be more profitable. But I think for every penny I earn on Patreon, the fact that someone sends me a message to say that I've helped them is far, far more significant to me. So I will leave it there. Ginger Joe, thanks, man, for your late entry. Apologies, you just seems to have pitched up late, you know, right at the end. But to the rest of you, enjoy your evening. Go on, let's be fucking cliche. Let's do it. Stay safe, stay sane. And did I mention there's a Patreon link in the description below? Take it easy, everyone. And I will see you all again soon. All right. Cheers, guys. Oh, and Gemini's. Bye.